once. Fool me once. Fool me once. Shame on. Shame on.
We know Doug from his newsletter, but Doug has spent 40 years of his life as a speculator, active in the markets, buying and selling. And this presentation is mostly about speculation. And I want to start by simply defining the term. Speculation is a lot different than investing, and it's not something that we've done a lot of at Stansberry Research before. So I thought it would be best to ask someone with a lot of experience. And when it comes to speculation, nobody knows more about it than Doug Casey. Doug, thank you very much for joining us today. Can we start just with a definition? What does speculation mean, and how is it different than investing?
Well, people often conflate and confuse the two concepts, but they're very different. An investor will put a dollar someplace in order to make real wealth grow. It's like planting a seed of corn, a whole stalk of corn with hundreds of new seeds. That's what investing is all about. It's generally a long-term process. Speculation is different.
We know Doug from his newsletter, but Doug has spent 40 years of his life as a speculator, active in the markets, buying and selling. And this presentation is mostly about speculation, and I want to start by simply defining the term. Speculation is a lot different than investing, and it's not something that we've done a lot of at Stansberry Research before. So I thought it would be best to ask someone with a lot of experience. And when it comes to speculation, nobody knows more about it than Doug Casey. Doug, thank you very much for joining us today. Can we start just with a definition? What does speculation mean, and how is it different than investing?
Well, people often conflate and confuse the two concepts, but they're very different. An investor will put a dollar someplace in order to make real wealth grow. It's like planting a seed of corn, a whole stalk of corn with hundreds of new seeds. That's what investing is all about. It's generally a long-term process. Speculation is different.
Hey, how are you? I'm Bill Valentine. Today's Friday, March 18th, and I want to talk about a guy named Porter Stansberry and a video he's put out on the internet to scare you and drive you to buy newsletters from him. I take great exception to the use and the tone of this video, and so I want to share a few ideas with you about how you should view this information. If you haven't seen it, you can find the video easy enough. Google Porter Stansberry. It's out there. It's about an hour long, and originally I actually was going to dissect it and do point counterpoint through the whole hour-long video of his, but it doesn't even rise to the level of empiricism that denotes that kind of a response. Instead, I want to talk about who this man is, what he's trying to do, and how you should see information like this with respect to your investment view going forward. Let me say at the outset that one of the underlying points of the video is that the government has accumulated too much debt and printed too much money for its own good. I too believe that. Where we differ is Mr. Stansberry is is trying to convince you that this in the next 12 to 18 months leads to nothing short of a complete societal breakdown in the United States, where you're going to need 6 months of food, water, and rations for yourself. Martial law will be declared, riots, government turning its back on its citizens and confiscating all of our property, being his case. My view being that the market forces and political forces will come to bear and will allow us as a society to perhaps not make it out of this unscathed, but who's run afoul with the law. Not allow for one of them in particular is greenlaserreview.com. Go to green.
place in America's very near future, which would actually bring our country our way of life. I want to talk about a specific event that will take place in America's very near future, which would actually bring our country our way of life to a grinding halt.
The following presentation is controversial and may be offensive to some audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello, my name is Porter Stansberry. 14 years ago, I founded Stansberry and Associates Investment Research. It has since become the largest firm of its kind in the world. We specialize in financial research and serve hundreds of thousands of paid subscribers in more than 120 countries. You may know of our firm because of the work we did over the last several years, helping investors avoid the big disasters associated with Wall Street's collapse. We warned people to avoid Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, Lehman Brothers, General Motors, and dozens of other companies that have since collapsed. We even helped our subscribers find opportunities to profit from these moves by shorting stocks and buying put options. To my knowledge, no other research firm in the world can match our record of correctly predicting the catastrophe that occurred in 2008 and the rebound that has occurred since then. The video presentation we created 3 years ago to explain the financial crisis and our thoughts on what would happen next has become the most watched online financial video in history as far as we can tell. But that's not why I created this follow-up presentation. I reference our success and experience with Wall Street's latest crisis because we believe there is an even bigger crisis lurking, something that will shake the very foundation.
The financial crisis. He's got this is Peter Schiff here at SchiffRadio.com. Anyway, I wanted to open the hour by continuing on my discussion of yesterday of Porter Stansberry's claims to have predicted the financial crisis. He's got a YouTube video out there, Porter Stansberry Research, The End of America, that has been viewed by almost 540,000 people. Now, there are no comments because the comments have been disabled, which is generally a sign that they don't want people debunking these false claims in the comment section. The video has been heavily advertised on radio and television. In fact, it's advertised on this network. In fact, the commercial is voiced by Alex Jones. And Porter is trying to claim credit for having predicted the financial crisis of 2008. He says that he doesn't know of any other firm that more accurately forecast or warned about the 2008 financial crisis than his firm, Stansberry Research. He claims that he warned that the crisis was coming, that he told his clients to avoid a whole host of stocks, including a lot of the financial companies that failed, that he even positioned his clients to profit from the financial crisis by shorting stocks. And while there is a modicum of truth in that statement, and I will get into what little grains of truth actually do exist, by and large, it's false. I contacted Stansberry Research and I asked them for any proof that they could give me to back up Porter's claims. And the only thing that they would do, and I appreciate what they did, is they gave me a password to their newsletter site so that I can go back and look at all of the newsletters that Porter Stansberry had written. Well, I have read now all of the newsletters that Porter wrote and sent out to his clients, and I can say in no uncertain terms that there is nothing in there that indicates that Porter Stansberry saw this crisis coming, even when he was right on the cusp of it. Now, in 2006, there wasn't a single article that he wrote that was warning about anything negative. Nothing. I'll give you a typical example of a newsletter from 2006. It was July of 2006. It was titled, "The best opportunity you'll ever have with blue chip stocks is right now." Quote, "I want to be crystal clear about this. In 5 years' time, 10 years' time, you will look back on these days and shake your head in disbelief that you could have bought stocks like Intel, Microsoft, Johnson & Johnson, Nokia, Anheuser-Busch, Raytheon on Verizon, just to name a few, at the low multiples of earnings and cash flows that you have today." So here, the Dow's around 11,000. It's 2006, mid-2006, and he's talking about the greatest opportunity ever to buy blue chip stocks. Doesn't sound like a guy who's running around in 2006 warning about an imminent financial crisis and getting laughed at, like he claims. Anyway, let's take a look at 2007. Again, nothing in 2007. In none of the newsletters, every month, he's got 12 letters. Not a single letter is warning about any problems looming on the horizon. An example, in June of 2007, he has a newsletter titled, "The Safest Way to Grow Wealthy in America." Quote, "This month I'll show you a total safe way to double your money, or even a lot more, next year by simply understanding the economics of our political system." Then he goes on to make the following stock recommendations in that newsletter: Duke Energy, Nokia, eBay, Anheuser-Busch, Harley-Davidson, and Verizon. Doesn't sound like a guy who thinks there's a financial crisis right around the corner. Here, August 2007, title of the newsletter, "The 2 ways you'll get rich investing in 2007. All right, how do you get rich? He recommends telecom stocks, several different telecom stocks, including one of them that happened to be in Taiwan. Okay, August 2007. October 2007, title of his newsletter, "The Only Hedge Fund You Should Buy. Markle Corporation, symbol MKL, stock, it's at $540 a share, 540. Here's Markle. Although Markle is still primarily an insurance company, it has actually become a hedge fund in all but name. The company is leveraged. It invests in quantitative speculations, insurance, and funnels the proceeds into an ever-growing asset base." So here it is, October of 2007. He's recommending a leveraged financial. A leveraged financial. The stock was at $540 a share. It fell down to $200 in March of 2009 by better than 60%. But with a guy who was worried about a financial crisis as early as 2000,
for real this time.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me if the gold and silver prices stayed muted. I don't want to really say suppressed, but merely muted for 6, 9, even 12 months, simply because there is a lot of faith in the US dollar as expressed by the US 10-year Treasury. Greg, I personally feel that to be misplaced trust, but I understand it. Our mutual friend Doug Casey has described the US dollar as, quote, the prettiest mare at the slaughterhouse. And what he means by that is that the US dollar and US 10-year Treasuries
get to it when I can. And I've talked about Doug Casey in the past, and keep in mind, I'm compiling, I have hundreds of files on people I've not talked about. It takes a long time to compile enough material on these individuals. Hundreds of files on individuals. One of the individuals I have not talked about, who's related in the business sense to Doug Casey, is named Jeff Barwick. He has this website called Dollar Vigilante. And of course, Jeff Barwick is just like Doug Casey in that, and people, keep in mind, I want you to write this down so that you will not forget. Websites, publications that are interviewing these people, that are pumping these people, that are highlighting these people, it's all the same. Gravy Train, the Gold Bud Network, you need to ban these sites. They're out to screw you. They are pumping con men. They're pumping people who want to screw you. Zero hedge, same bullshit. They feature the same con men. It's the circle of con men. You understand? I know this because I've been watching this for a number of years. The same individuals keep appearing. Why is that? Right? It's a network. It's the flooding approach. Okay? The same guys. Now, you do have some portions of disagreement.
Congratulations, you've just joined the United Nations. By most metrics, you're now a country.
I'm Greg Hunter. Welcome to the USA Watchdog YouTube channel. It supports USAWatchdog.com. I'm a former investigative correspondent. I worked on ABC's Good Morning America and also on CNN on many of their platforms. I try to put out interviews and information that is above all accurate. As my slogan on the website says, I try to give you a clear picture of what's really going on. I hope you enjoy the channel, and I hope you subscribe. Thanks again. I'm Greg Hunter. I'm Greg Hunter. Welcome to USAWatchdog.com. With us, somebody we haven't had on for a while. He's out with a new book. It's a novel, actually. It's called Speculator, and you have given him away right now. It's John Casey, written with his co-author John Hunt. Speculator. It's a novel. We'll talk about that in just a minute. Of course, we're talking about Doug Casey. Doug Casey, of course, of famed Casey Research. You're a best-selling author with your Crisis Investing in the late 70s and early 80s. Doug Casey, thanks for joining us today on USAWatchdog.com.
Well, Greg, it is nice to be back here with you.
Before we talk about your book, your novel, which we'll get to a little later, a lot of people are
Congratulations, you've just joined the United Nations. By most metrics, you're now a country.
Fool me once.